Out in the wild, this massive, blue, armored bipedal monster establishes her power by effortlessly crushing anything that stands in her way. But despite her fearsome reputation, Nidoqueen is considered an absolute headache for modern Pokémon biologists. Nidoqueen and Nidoking are clearly the female and male variants of the exact same species, yet they are categorized separately in the Pokédex. This is a phylogenetic tree of known Pokémon families published by researchers. It explicitly marks these species as sexually dimorphic taxa. But even with this clear biological link mapped out in academic literature, taxonomists show complete resistance to revising their classification to group them together. The trading card game lore describes her as a dedicated guardian with strong maternal instincts. But upon evolving from Nidomnina into Nidoqueen, she permanently loses the ability to lay eggs. This infertility traces back to a random 1996 Pokédex book entry that the game developers blindly adhered to for over 23 years. The community theorizes that this acts as a natural population control mechanism, preventing these apex poison types from overbreeding and depleting local resources. These biological contradictions leave Nidoqueen in a bizarre state. She is a walking mystery, a dedicated mother who cannot actually breed. Early in her competitive history, Nidoqueen was heavily overshadowed by Nidoking because she lacked his speed. But by Generation 4, the metagame shifted towards slower, stall strategies, allowing players to focus entirely on Nidoqueen's superior HP and defense stats. She found a highly specific role setting up toxic spikes while acting as a roadblock against popular physical attackers like Lucario. Her lore-mandated thick scales and her ground and poison typing made her incredibly resilient, rendering her totally immune to the residual damage of sandstorms. Her defensive success in this era proved that even a niche position in the Pokédex could be leveraged into a consistent presence in high-level play. In Generation 5, a new mechanical pivot completely inverted her playstyle, the hidden ability Sheer Force. Sheer Force strips away secondary attack effects, like the chance to poison a target, and exchanges them for a massive raw damage boost. Players paired this with the Life Orb. Normally, this item boosts damage but drains health. With Sheer Force, that health penalty is negated, allowing the damage multipliers to stack. Does this massive power boost finally make Nidoqueen a better attacker than Nidoking? Nidoking has a fatal flaw in this generation. To survive, he is forced to run a timid nature to outspeed threats, which actively sacrifices his potential damage. Nidoqueen's superior bulk allows her to take a hit. Because of that survivability, she can afford to run a modest nature, maximizing her damage output. Because of these optimal natures, a damage calculation reveals the slower queen actually hits harder than the king. By combining her defensive bulk with recoil-free hypercharged attacks, she became a surprisingly effective offensive weapon. Her competitive utility extended into formats like VGC and Pokémon Go, where she functioned as a versatile threat. She spent the 2018 VGC season pressuring top-tier threats like Tapu Koko, and carved out a role in Go's Ultra League by soaking up damage while using Poison Jab and Earth Power. It is a ruthless track record for a Pokémon still plagued by the initial lore contradictions and that 1996 clerical typo. Game Freak may have ruined her ability to create a family, but she proved she didn't need to lay eggs to leave a legacy. Nidoqueen's career proves you do not need biological consistency to succeed. You just need incredible bulk and the ability to obliterate your enemies.